Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is Nalini Stamp. I am the Director of Strategy at the Working Families Party, and I am here with the incredible Analia. Analia, introduce yourself.
Greetings, Nalini, and greetings, y'all. So happy to be together on this important evening with just a set of incredible speakers. So, Nalini, what should folks expect?
Yes, so I'm just going to do a little level set for tonight's conversation. We are going to hear from Mayor Baraka and also the congressional delegation that was on the ground last Friday when, as I will just say, ICE try to act a fool. They can explain it for themselves because they were there, so I won't go into belabor the point. We are then going to hear from immigrant rights activists across the country as well, because this is a moment we need to stand together strong. We have seen this, the current administration treat immigrant communities, treat students, treating so many people without value, without humanity. And this is the moment where we need to come together, especially when our electeds are doing their job. They're doing the thing. They are trying to protect us, and they're protecting each other, which I think is really important of the solidarity that we saw on Friday. And so we're going to hear from folks around the country, and then we're going to tell you to take some action. Because what would this be, a call with thousands of people from across the country without taking some action, especially if you have myself and Ana Lilia as your MCs. And so I just wanted to just set that. I also always believe in setting a little bit of a joy and motivation. So I am going to take the liberty and just really, really quick, just make sure that we open with a little song. So we're going to go, I went down to the jailhouse and I took back what they stole from me, took it back. Now it's under my feet, under my feet. Under my feet, ain't gonna let the system walk all over me. All right, that's how I like to start off a good call. So I'm gonna pass it over to Ana Lilia.
Thank you, Nalini. I have to say, every action I ever do with Nalini is filled with joy and power and your incredible voice, sister. I'm so glad to be in community with you. I'm glad to be in community with everyone that dialed in today. And I am frankly very humbled, excited, thrilled, moved to be in community with tonight's speakers. I want to first start, y'all, by doing a little level set for us to really be able to hold this, okay? While this fight on the surface seems like it is just a debate over immigration, it is in fact a struggle over American democracy and what kind of nation we all wish to live in. The speakers that are assembled today, they understand more than almost anyone that when we witness masked agents disappearing people off streets, or we watch government officials, elected officials, be treated with impunity and violence because they are simply trying to uphold the laws, that what we are actually witnessing is an erosion of democratic principles and an erosion, a destruction of the America, of the community in which we wish to live. Now, I want to say that the bottom line is that there are laws that govern our nation. There is a constitution that expressly states that all of us are in fact created equal and that all persons have the right to due process, to equal protection, and much more under our laws, no matter what Trumpist or Trump may say. Later on this call, we're going to share ways, as Nalini said, on where you could do more than listen. I have to tell you just at the front end that in the immediate, y'all, in this moment, there is a push through budget reconciliation to have one of the most massive wealth transfers happen right under our noses. In fact, what we were fighting against at Delaney and what immigrant rights groups are facing across the country and where many communities, including my own, are put under threat. So much of it is undergirded and will be made possible by this massive wealth transfer in budget reconciliation. So and both tonight on this call, as well as later, we're going to urge you to take action. If you want to get ahead of it right now, you could take out your phone and text Stop MAGA to 25463. Don't worry, I'm going to put it on the chat. But again, it's 25463, Stop MAGA, where we'll be able to give you information on what you could do other than listen tonight to these incredible speakers. Now, last thing I want to say is that I was there on Friday. And what I saw was a tremendous display of courage, of patriotism, and of unity by Mayor Baraka and Representatives Watson Coleman, MacGyver, and Menendez. By bravely putting themselves on the line, they helped further expose a threat that is coming for all of our communities. Now is not the time for us to stay silent or alone. Now is the time for us to join in unity. And I have to say, every single one of our speakers tonight lives those values. So I've spoken enough. We're going to hear from our incredible speakers, and I want to kick it off first to, my incredible mayor. I have to say, incredible Mayor Ras Baraka, who I have had the pleasure and honor of knowing since he was a councilman, and frankly, turns out listening to him when he was a principal. I'm so honored, Mayor, to have you join us today. And I want to say on behalf of Movement Folk, to all four of you, thank you. Thank you for putting your bodies where your values are. Thank you for putting your voice and your platform and extending it for those who are forced to live on the margins. Thank you, Mayor, and I hand it to you.
Thank you. I want to thank Nalini and Working Families and all of the folks that are here. Of course, Anna Lilia, all of the work that you do over the years. I want to thank my Congress people here for standing in the gap and, just not letting these people run roughshod over the city and over me. Period. I like the frame that you started off with because it's right on the money. When we were elected, all of us, we didn't swear allegiance to Donald Trump. We didn't swear allegiance to the U.S. Attorney. We didn't swear allegiance to the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. In fact, we swore allegiance to the Constitution of the United States, and in my instance, the Constitution of the state of New Jersey. We swore allegiance to those documents, and those documents are very clear. Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, the 14th Amendment is very clear on how citizenship is outlined. It's also clear on due process. And all of those amendments talk about due process, the right to go to a court, to be innocent before you're guilty, the right to be secure in your papers and your persons and your property. All of those things are very clear. And in fact, we've advertised to the world the best idea that the world has come up with, and that's democracy. We've advertised it to the world, and people have been traveling from thousands of miles trying to figure out where that is and how they become a part of this great thing called American democracy. And then when they got here, we gave them the old bait and switch. We told them that it didn't really exist, or psych, we weren't talking about you. We was talking about some other people, right? And so here we are in this kind of constitutional crisis where we're trying to uphold the Constitution while undermining it at the same time. Martin Luther King said we have a schizophrenic relationship with democracy, a schizophrenic relationship with equity and opportunity. And that's what we're seeing here. That's what we're witnessing here today. I went there just to get these people to follow the laws. People keep saying I went down there to protest. I went down there to support protesters, but also make sure that they're following the law. I didn't go down there to protest. I went down there to support my congressional delegation. They turned it into a melee and mayhem and arrested me for trespassing, federal trespassing on property that is not owned by the federal government, in fact. And not only that, I was on the public side of it in the first place. So all of this is atrocious. And if you watch these people lie on TV saying our congresspeople slammed ICE agents, I mean, it's just bizarre beyond bizarre, right? These people have been used to lying so much, and we've been on the defense, and they lie and lie and lie, and hopefully the lie becomes the truth in their mind. So we have to push back against that. That's not what happened. They control the narrative, but they can't control it this time. We have to control our own narrative. We're fighting to uphold the Constitution of the United States. We're fighting to uphold democracy, that every single person deserves due process. Simply by the fact that they step foot on our soil, they're afforded due process here in this country. And that's clear to me. And these people aren't arresting criminals and gang members and child murderers and rapists, because every time you talk about this is what they say. And we allow them to control that narrative. The reality is they're arresting people who just got married. They're arresting people who are in the process of becoming citizens who have to wait 8, 9, 10 years for that process to take place. They're arresting people with green cards, and they're arresting people who have student visas. They're arresting DACA students and individuals who disagree with them politically. This is what they're doing. They can't fill up that Delaney Hall with folks that are gang members, because those people don't exist. They're going to fill it up with your neighbors and your relatives and your friends who are trying to be citizens in the United States. And they're going to call them illegal because they didn't finish the process. But I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to be quiet. Unless, like I said, when I came out of the detention, unless you, part of the Choctaw Nation or Cherokee or Lenni Lenape here in this place, somebody in your family came here undocumented. And your relationship to this country is a born and naturalized citizen because the first person that came here was undocumented. That's just a fact. And African Americans were probably the first undocumented people. That's why the 14th Amendment exists. And we have to understand what's happening here. The undermining of our democracy, the Constitution of this country, means that all of us have to be together. We can't afford to be separate. We can't afford to be petty, to go our separate ways around things we disagree with. If we agree on 8 issues and disagree on 2, we can fight about the 2 later. Let's march around the 8 we agree upon. We have to be that sophisticated as these people are, who disagree with one another, but upholding the violation of people's rights collectively. They know they're wrong, but they're collectively upholding it. I mean, these people know this man, Trump, and what he's doing, but they're still supporting his policies because they have a united front. And we have to build the same united front across race, religion, how we identify, where we work, our zip codes. We just have to do that. It's the only way we win, right? And so I appreciate you guys for getting me on the call. I have to go to a debate tonight, so I got to get prepared for my debate. So I'm sure the Congress people can handle themselves, and I didn't get a chance to say thank you to any of them. So I appreciate you guys. I thank you wholeheartedly. My family thanks you for putting your body at risk to protect me. And ultimately, we're not going to allow these people to lie and continue to lie. We actually have the video proof of what happened, and we can't wait to show that video proof in court when I get the first opportunity at my pretrial hearing, May 15th at 10 a.m. in the federal courthouse on Judge Walder. And so we're going to be there this Thursday with the proof and with folks who told us to enter the property in the first place. So, we thank you. I thank you. I thank all the folks that are on this call. We need solidarity now, solidarity forever.
Thank you so much, Mayor Baraka. Good luck tonight, but thank you so much. And we plan to be there, not just with our thoughts and prayers, but we got some plans to show you some love on Thursday when you have to go into court for this, for this circus that they are instituting. But thank you so much for that. We really appreciate you and everyone else. Next up, we love to hear it. I know when I saw video of Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman being shoved around, I started to I was just in my living room getting ready to just go. I was like, how are they putting some hands on this wonderful representative of the people who has been a legislator, a community fighter? Please welcome Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman.
All right, yeah.
There you
Hi,
go.
can you hear me? I
Yes.
needed to mute myself because I was kind of grunting, I think, from time to time. But thank you very much for getting us together, and thank you so much for giving the mayor the opportunity to get some things off of his chest. I'm here with LaMonica McIver and Rob Menendez, and together we just went to Delaney Hall to do something that we're legally allowed to do, and that is to conduct an oversight tour. So everybody knows what happened with the delay and everything, and ICE not being very cooperative and making us wait for a very long period of time. At some point, we learned that the mayor was there. So we went out to see the mayor, and he was inside the gate because he had been invited. And the moment that we got within proximity, they said, Mayor, you're trespassing. You have to get off this property. And he did, without any incident, got off of their property with all the dignity and respect that we would expect from him, knowing him. We were going back to the facility where we were being held originally, thinking that, okay, now we're going to do the tour for which we've come. But we hear these conversations going on, and then we hear we're going to arrest him. And our question was to him, then for what? For what are you going to arrest him? So they opened the gates, and I guess a dozen, 15, 20 of them proceeded towards the mayor. And the three of us got very close to him because we were very concerned for his safety. And we wanted to make sure that they understood he was not standing alone, that we were standing with him. They subsequently arrested him. It was pretty much of a struggle to be in the midst of it. We're not going to lie. I mean, these are big men. They've got 35 pounds of equipment around their bodies. They got masks on and they've got guns in their holsters. We knew where we were. And so finally, the mayor gets the handcuffs put on him, and he's walked back into the facility area. We go back also to see as far as we can what's happening. And then they took him away, and we went inside to do our tour finally. Our concern is that every high-level ICE official in the state of New Jersey was there at the Delaney Hall with us because we weren't getting any cooperation out of anyone so that we could do the oversight. So whoever was instructing them to arrest the mayor were doing so at a higher level. And that concerns me because that is typical of what we see this administration does. It does illegal things to innocent people, and it does dangerous things to people of color. So you're right. We were very concerned. We were going to stick as close to him as we possibly could because he did nothing wrong. He did nothing illegal. And if there's anything illegal, it was the apprehending of him on public property. So I thank you for giving us the opportunity to have this conversation. I'm grateful to God for the fact that this information and the real-time experience is on camera. Our country needs to see that nobody is safe, that the abuse that is coming out of this kleptocracy is dangerous to everyone. But I want to talk about power for 1 second, and I'm going to shut up. I have been saying, and by the fact that the mayor got released without having to stay incarcerated over the weekend or even overnight, has to do with people. The people that showed up and protested and demanded that he be released, the fact that people were recording and sharing those recordings all over the country, people were seeing what had happened because of the actions of the people who always have more power than the people who are in power. The mayor was finally released, and we were with him until he got in the car with his family. And for that, I am grateful. I am grateful for LaMonica and Rob, because we all stood together in solidarity, trying to represent the oath that we had taken on behalf of this country. So thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are going to continue. I believe next up is the representative from Newark. In the first, is it the first, your first year in Congress too?
It feels like year 15, but
Okay.
it's still just a
I was
couple
gonna
of months.
say
You jumped right
Yeah.
into the deep
you
end of
jumped
the
right in. I just
pool.
wanted to honor that Representative LaMonica McIver, who represents Newark, jumped right in, y'all. So please, LaMonica, please, Congresswoman, take it away. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much. I think that's a good point to make out because it feels like it's been years, representing, but literally it's only been a couple of months. And I mean, since we got this crazy president, it feels like it's been 10 years of him and his madness and chaos. And honestly, we're always reminding each other, like, how long has it been still, dealing with him? But I think Rep Watson Coleman, I call her Queen Watson Coleman, made clear, talking about what happened. The only thing I will add is that one, it's just unreal to believe that happened to us on Friday. I think what's even more unrealer, is the fact that all of the lies that you see coming out of the administration. I mean, literally, I have been asked more times today than a little bit. They played me back a video and they're like, hey, are you in the video body slamming someone? Did you body slam this person? And I mean, I just find it to be it's almost so crazy that it's funny, but it's not funny. Nothing's funny about it. And to continue to see them spill lies. I mean, they said we stormed the facility. We saw tweets today saying that this situation was worse than 9/11. We saw things like, hey, they started an insurrection. I mean, all of these things coming out of the administration. These are not like comments that are coming out from MAGA supporters. These are from actual people who are employed through Homeland Security or elected officials from the Republican side who are saying these things about us. And it's honestly crazy. I've heard so many things about us being arrested, how they're going to press charges. And it is just honestly the sign of intimidation, political intimidation when we are simply doing our jobs. As Rep Watson Coleman said, we were there just to do our jobs. We showed up there to do our oversight visit, and the folks who were on the ground there, who were watching this and who are on this panel with us, we know that they showed up there and caused all of the confusion and chaos and confrontation that they did. We did not do any of that. And yes, they want to show clips of us, especially of me, myself, being upset about what was happening, because I was very upset. I mean, I was literally, I watched my colleague that I was scared to death for, Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman. I was holding on to her like, oh my God, like what is happening? But at the end of the day too, like people were shoved, we were pushed. It was just unnecessary roughness to 3 members of Congress. And in that moment that we were going through, like in that moment of the tense situation, I thought to myself, just imagine what people are going through behind the scenes when cameras aren't rolling, when people aren't watching, when there is not a crowd to watch. Imagine how they're treating folks, how they're approaching them, how they're intimidating them. I mean, it went all through, and I'm like, this is a problem. Like, literally, this administration has weaponized the police, law enforcement, ICE, Homeland Security against folks, but more importantly, against elected officials. And it is just, unreal to see that this is what America has come to. This is un-American. This is not the America that we, signed up to be here, to live here, to grow our families. And people deserve better. We deserve better. And so, we, are going to get through this. And as it has already been said, the power is still with us. We still have the power. Our voices are our power. Our people power together will get us through all of this. And this too shall pass. As I always say, I wake up every day like this too shall pass before I even start off the day, because I know that it will, because we will overcome and fight against this. Like, we are better than this. And we will not just be intimidated and bullied and lied on by this administration. We will not. And I'm grateful to all of you, to all of your organizations and all of the work that you continue to do each and every day, speaking truth to power, and making sure that you are representing for those least of thee, each and every day. So I thank you for this opportunity to share with you all, and really look forward to any conversations, any organized, anything. Please keep me in the loop, because we must stay united through this work and through this fight. So thank you so much.
I want to say, again, to everyone that's listening and to every single one of you who can count on either Mayor Baraka as your mayor or Representatives MacGyver, Bonnie Watson Coleman, or Menendez, y'all need to know what brave, stand up, just take action, righteous action representatives you in fact have. And again, to watch, y'all, to watch Representative MacGyver and Bonnie Watson Coleman and Menendez literally surround the mayor in protection. What folks need to understand is that organizers and activists, we were standing to the side because we thought we would be the ones who would be assaulted. We were trying to protect our folks on a side because we believed that we would be treated with impunity as we have been across this nation. And we were shocked to see what happened, but also humbled at that strength. So I'm going to hand it over. I'm sorry. That was impromptu to say, because these representatives were incredible, y'all. I want to hand it to our last representative, last but not least. Please, Representative Menendez, thank you for joining us. Also jumping into the deep end of the pool. Please take it away.
Well, thank you so much for doing this, and thank you so much for having me on. It's tough following Bonnie and LaMonica, because I just get so emotional just thinking about what happened on Friday and the things that I saw that I'll have to carry with me for the rest of my life, and how they treated or mistreated not just the mayor, but two incredible colleagues that I have who I have so much respect for in Bonnie and LaMonica, and to see the way that they were treated, disrespected, in my opinion, physically assaulted, which is something that I never thought I would see. Definitely not in the city of Newark, definitely not in the state of New Jersey, but that's exactly what happened. And they're two legends that I've always known that since I've had the opportunity to start working with them. And especially when you find yourself in a situation like we found ourselves in Friday, at no point did they flinch or waver. They're such brave individuals, and I really am so fortunate to call them my friends and colleagues. And all New Jerseyans should be uplifting them right now, because we still have some work ahead of us, some sort of questions that remain outstanding that we're all working through now. But listen, this is something that we've done at Elizabeth Detention Center before. We've been working on these issues of privately run detention centers since I've come to Congress. Bonnie, way before LaMonica or I got there. Earlier this year, the three of us had visited the Elizabeth Detention Center without issue. I had gone a second time with Senator Kim without issue. Had the chance to go speak to New Jerseyans that were being held there. That was what our intention was on Friday, to do our job. It's just that simple. And I think the two things that sort of I come away and I've had time to reflect on since Friday are, one, the violence that took place that I've spoken to, that Congresswoman Watson Coleman, Congresswoman MacGyver have spoken to. And the second thing is how this administration has such a tortured relationship with the truth, and how they can spin things that just did not happen, just factually did not happen, and how those things get taken as the truth and as fact. That's happening to members of Congress. None of us hold ourselves up on a pedestal, but we also realize we have an immense position of privilege to do the work that we get to do, and to not be given that opportunity to do our oversight function, which is a legal right that we have, to be told to wait an hour and a half before what happened, just shows how this administration functions. And for those of you that don't know, the 8th Congressional District, over 40% of the people that live here were born outside the country. I'm really proud of the work that our office does in making sure that we're available and a service to everyone who calls the district home. It's been a priority since we started in office. It'll always be a priority for us. But what happened Friday should shock all Americans. This administration has already targeted federal judges who they disagree with their decisions. They arrested the mayor of the largest city in New Jersey. They put their hands on two members of Congress in broad daylight, masked, heavily armed, without identification. They were 20 armed individuals deep with the four of us. So if that's not an act of intimidation, I don't know what is. Distorting the facts before we even walked out of Delaney Hall is an act of intimidation to try to silence folks. And the thing that I try to press upon people is people can feel differently than the three of us do about immigration. People can have policy disagreements with us, but what should be unacceptable to every American is trying to intimidate and silence people who were democratically elected, to intimidate and silence people who were simply trying to do their jobs. That's not about policy. That's not about viewing issues differently. And that really should shake all Americans because, as we all know, and history has shown us, if you think that this type of administration is going to do these things, but it won't impact you, then you stay silent and you think that it'll pass. And then it gets closer to you, your family, to the people you love, to the people you worship with, to the people that your children go to school with. And eventually, with this type of administration, it will get to each one of us. And so, why not speak out now? Why not say this is wrong? Why not say, I don't accept this as the type of country that we will live in today? It's not the country I want for any of us. And that's the point that, in my opinion, we should all be making. This country is heading in a real sad state of affairs. And every day we deal with that in Washington. Friday was just another data point of how far off course we are and how much work we have to do. But what I tell everybody is the people are the red line. The people are. We're the front line, and you saw that Friday, right? We're the front line, and we wear that with a badge of honor. But everyone across the country, if they agree and unite together and say this is wrong, we can win today. We can win back our tomorrows and make this country so much better. And that's the work that the three of us are committed to. And I know the mayor is as well. And we have a lot of work to do. I'm actually going to jump off of this because I got to get back to Washington because I have to try to stop Republicans from cutting $880 billion from Medicaid. So we start that tomorrow. Since there's so many incredible individuals and groups on this call, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez on her political website, ocasio-cortez.com, has a Save Medicaid plan of action. I encourage everyone to look at that. We're talking about a program that is responsible for keeping 40% of all children, not children in my district, not children in New Jersey, but 40% of all children across the country on healthcare. Responsible for 40% of births. We have so much work to do on maternal health, but we're not going to be able to do that work if we cut Medicaid. People with long-term disabilities. I'm talking about the most vulnerable amongst us. So when you talk about a misalignment of priorities, the party that has the issue with not representing the American people and the struggles that they are in is the Republican Party. So I'm going to hop off. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for supporting people like Mayor Baraka. Thank you for supporting my two incredible colleagues. I know that you've been taking it off people's hands to introduce people. The runner show said I was responsible, and because I have an incredible constituent who I have so much respect for, I am going to take the microphone away from y'all so I can introduce the incredible Amy Torres, who I've known for several years. I respect her diligence in the work that she does as the executive director of the New Jersey Alliance for Immigrant Justice. Such an important organization and such an incredible leader in this moment to be doing that important work. And so thankful that we get to partner on so many of these critical issues in the moment that we're in. And I couldn't think of a better partner, a better leader than Amy Torres. So Amy, you're up.
Thank you so much, Congress member. A few times in your life, you get to get that type of introduction from your own federal representative. But thank you. This is a very leaderful movement, and I'm so excited to be here tonight with everyone who's calling in, and especially huge thanks to our New Jersey Freedom 4, our incredibly dogged and courageous Congress members, and of course, the Mayor of Newark and Mayor of the People, Ras Baraka. Look, you've heard it already. If it can happen to them on camera with witnesses when acting within their rights, imagine what's happening to the rest of us. My name is Amy Torres. I'm with New Jersey Alliance for Immigrant Justice. We are the state's largest immigration coalition. We bring together 60 different organizations from every corner of New Jersey to fight for justice and empowerment of immigrant communities. We've been at the fore of major fights over the last decade, from driver's licenses for all to passing the East Coast's very first ban on ICE detention. By now, nearly every American has heard about Delaney Hall and its owner, Geo Group. Nearly every American has heard how this is the first site to open under the Trump's second administration and how it's slated to be the largest on the East Coast. And by now, nearly every American has heard how ICE bragged about their excitement to open this facility because its very same owner, Geo Group, also operates the ICE air contract where people can be transferred and deported out of Newark Liberty International Airport, which is just a stone's throw away. You may have even heard that Geo Group was the first corporation to max out campaign contributions to Donald Trump's re-election campaign. And of course, by now, everyone has heard about Mayor Ras Baraka, Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman, Congresswoman LaMonica MacGyver, and Congressmember Robert Menendez. But though Mayor Baraka was arrested, this isn't just about Ras Baraka, the mayor. Ras Baraka is a mayor, but he is not an immigrant. He is, title aside, an everyday citizen. His arrest is a testament to the abhorrence of the system that was built to surveil and destroy immigrant communities, but is able and allowed to strip away all of our rights, regardless of our immigration or citizenship status. We all have rights. The mayor has a right to enforce local codes. Our Congress members have a right and an authority to exercise oversight. Whether you are a citizen or an immigrant, a Congress member or a mayor, or whether you're just a regular person like me, we all have rights, and they're being taken away. ICE and DHS and this federal administration not only regularly violate, but are actively working overtime to erode these rights. It wouldn't matter if the conditions in Delaney Hall were worse than those at Guantanamo or better than the best five-star luxury hotel in the world. What's wrong is that this is a system that is built to violate your rights and your humanity. It is built to racially profile and surveil you. It is built to disappear you without notice or recourse, whether you're a citizen or not. And that's what distinguishes the immigrants' rights fight from the immigrant justice movement. We all have rights, yes, but in the fight for immigrant justice, we're fighting against any system that dares to assess our value based on our place of origin, our race, or our status. We're fighting against any system that dares to trample on our constitutional rights. You're about to hear from some of the fiercest immigrant justice advocates from across the country about what ICE is doing in their neighborhoods and their communities. I'm talking to you today from Newark, our state's largest, most diverse, and in my opinion, most incredible city. But this happened to us under the existing budget. What is going to happen to your town after budget reconciliation when ICE has billions of dollars more at their disposal? We are not alone, and we are certainly not done. You're going to hear from some incredible and fierce freedom fighters from everywhere across this country, starting with my neighbor in New York, Murad from the New York Immigration Coalition.
Thank you, Amy. And good evening, everyone, and thank you all for joining us tonight. You know, this administration came in a little bit over 100 days ago, promising to tackle some of the issues that many people have been facing. Things like the affordability crisis, the housing crisis, And every single step that they have taken has actually made every single one of those crises even worse, just so they can deliver on this false, horrific narrative that immigrants don't belong in this country. But we have a message. Immigrants are part and parcel to this country, from our roads to our bridges to the economies that continue to keep our cities and our states thriving. Here in the state of New York, immigrants are contributing over $81 billion in combined taxes to benefits that they will not have access to in the long run. And the Trump administration continues to vilify and make our communities the villains of the story when they are. Everything that they're doing to deliver on their mass deportation and family separation agenda is not about safety and security. It's about cruelty, and that's their point. We are not nearing a constitutional crisis. We are in it. And we need every single person who is watching and your friends, contact at least 5 of them to step up and start fighting back. This is a moment where it is going to be critical for all of us to step up. We are seeing families across the state of New York, black bags snatched off streets and disappeared. We have New Yorkers who have been sent to El Salvador without any due process and not guilty of anything except being black or brown in this country. And that, my friends, is a shame. We must all stand up and fight back. This fight is a fight for our democracy. We're seeing students who, like Mahmoud Khalid, who's still in detention, where the government continues to fight to move his case to Louisiana so that they can go court shopping and not actually think about justice, but think about how they can deliver on their message. Mahmoud Khalil must be released. Dr. Bedr Khan Suri must be released. These students have done nothing wrong but exercise their First Amendment right. And when one of us doesn't have any rights, none of us do, regardless of immigration status. That is what the Constitution and prior case law has told us. We are all in this together. And the only way we're going to get through this moment and the moments to come is in our solidarity. And our solidarity and our safety is in that together. We are interwoven into one another. So while our communities are being attacked right now in this moment, all of our communities are on the menu. We have budget reconciliation happening within the next couple of weeks. What's on the table? Gutting Medicaid, gutting Social Security, and then investing hundreds of billions of dollars in ICE and in this mass deportation agenda to separate more families, harm our communities, and gut our economies. And in this moment, we all need to step up and start fighting back. This is not a test run. We have to step up in this moment. Contact your representatives and demand that they push back and not steal money away from our programs that are keeping our communities alive, like Medicaid and Social Security, and that they're investing in our communities' health and well-being, not the separation of our children and our families. And with that, it is my honor to introduce my sister in arms, my sister organization, who's been doing incredibly brilliant work in the great state of Tennessee. Join me in welcoming up to the mic Lisa Sherman Luna, the Executive Director of Turk and Turk Action.
Thank you so much, Murad, and thank you everyone for having me. For those of you who don't know, Turk, or the Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition, has been around for almost 25 years, building power and organizing our communities in one of the most hostile climates in this country. Tennessee is now the most restrictive non-border state. In January, our governor had a special session where he created an immigration czar to facilitate cooperation between ICE and local and state law enforcement. And this past week, our communities have been reeling from the cooperation between the Tennessee Highway Patrol and ICE, who have terrorized our streets, picking up people with no due process simply for being brown. They have set up traps. They have pulled people over for things like a broken tail light. And then they ask them if they have a driver's license. And when they say no, they immediately have brought ICE over and allowed ICE to pick them up. They have no state charges whatsoever, no state citations. They are just picking people up based on the color of their skin and handing them straight over to ICE and facilitating detention and deportation of our communities. Of course, they're not lifting up the stories of the father who was detained and arrested while buying birthday decorations for his son, and his wife spent the whole next day looking for him instead of the planned party that they had. They are not talking about the mom who's been here for 30 years, and I saw her, followed her home, entered her home, and after she was coming home from her work downtown as a chef, and now her children are having to pick up the pieces. They're not talking about the beloved church leader who has been a strong elder and member in his congregation for 3 decades, who they picked up simply for being brown. It has been a nightmare what we have lived through, but our communities have stepped up and fought back. Thanks to so many Nashvillians who believe in the strength and the diversity and the beauty of our immigrant communities, we have raised over $200,000 to support those families that have impacted. But we know that that is not enough. That is not enough to repay them for the harm and the trauma they have caused. The legal nonprofits in the state have been asking ICE for the names of everybody who's been detained, and they have refused to give it. It's like a catastrophe, a mass casualty event where medical professionals are not allowed to access their patients or their medical history. We're all fighting against the clock to try and prevent people from signing away their rights and the false choice of voluntary deportation. This has been one of the most unbelievable weeks in my career in immigrant rights. We cannot let Congress allocate more funding to this agency that is rogue and that is harming our communities without any due process. And it's important to note too that what is happening in Tennessee and other states is coming to a state near you. Part of the special session in January was the governor actually making it a felony for local elected officials to vote for sanctuary policies. So like the mayor that we saw that was just arrested in Newark, they have actually already criminalized mayors and local council and school boards from standing up and voting their values to protect our communities. This is the playbook. This is what they want. They want to ensure that we cannot protect our communities, that we cannot lift up our rights and our values. And it's not just about immigrants. This is going to spread across the country. And it's so important that we put a stop to it, because this is not democracy. This is authoritarianism, and it's coming to a state near you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I would be remiss to not also mention that in Tennessee, we're also reeling from the lack of accountability for the murder of Tyree Nichols. And all of these things are tied together. Black and brown communities, we have to show up in solidarity for each other, because this law enforcement, ICE, all of this is tied together, and it's important that we stand up in solidarity for each other and not allow any more funding to these agencies that terrorize our communities and don't provide us the kinds of opportunities that we need to thrive. And with that, I will pass it over to Nayli.
Thank you so much. And thank you for everyone who has spoken. I am an admirer, a follower of all of your work. And it's been great. And picking up on this thread, I have to say, I think the movement or in our community, sometimes we're like, oh, that issue doesn't have to do with me. But just as in 2020, when there were the uprisings around the murders of Breonna Taylor, the murders of George Floyd, we need to show up in this moment with that same kind of energy. We are seeing people just, if folks saw that horrifying video also from Worcester in Massachusetts on Friday of a community getting to, I mean, it broke my heart, but it was also powerful to see a community saying, you're not taking this child and separating their the mother from its child, especially on Mother's Day weekend, right? It was a beautiful holiday that everybody was celebrating, no matter, what mothering you do in your life. And it is just, we have to understand that this is how any state that wants to oppress a large group of people so that the wealthy few can get away with murder, basically, with taking away our rights, with all of the things, they need to use state violence. And in the Black community, as somebody who is Afro-Latina, I have seen it in both places. My parents are immigrants, and I was raised in this country as a US citizen that is Black. And so it's been a no-brainer for me all of my life, and it's a no-brainer for a lot of our communities that have been out on the front lines. We've seen Haitians, we've seen the like Black erasure in the struggle for immigrant justice, but also these folks who are standing here on this call have been making sure our communities come together. The fact that we had Black elected official and a Black man arrested to stand up for immigrants. This is what we need to be showing. We show by doing, we show by protecting each other, we show by protecting care and being one another. And it is my pleasure to invite a girl homie and friend who has been doing the work on state violence and criminalization for a long, long time, and also showing up for our for immigrants, Angelo Pinto. Let's go.
Thank you,
From Until
Nalini. I
Freedom.
appreciate that introduction so much. And you touched on so many things. I mean, for me, I had the honor and privilege of being on the ground in Newark the day that Mayor Ras Baraka was arrested. I got a call from a number of, folks who do the work in Newark day in and day out and said, "Hey, listen, the mayor just got arrested. What are we going to do?" I was like, tell everyone you can to go down to Delaney Hall immediately. And literally within minutes, moments, the community really showed up in a tremendous way. And not just the folks in Newark, there were folks from New York City, South Jersey, folks from far and wide came to Delaney Hall to stand in solidarity with Mayor Ras Baraka. So I think it was an opportunity where I often say how important it is to turn a moment into a movement. And of course, how do we even turn that movement into a bigger movement for solidarity? And I feel like this is one of those opportunities that you don't get a lot of times, where two folks or two groups who often see their issues as disconnected or not intersecting to say, hold on, wait, our issues are very connected. And not only that, our fates are connected. And if we don't stand in solidarity and stand up for each other, we know what's going to happen. This isn't simply, I often think when I'm thinking about the issues, you talk about police violence, you talk about immigration. For me, when we look at the Trump administration, one of the things we're facing really is fascism, we're facing dictatorship. And that means anyone who's vulnerable can potentially be at risk. For me, all eyes will be on Newark for quite some time because Mayor Baraka now has real charges. He has a court date coming up. But these are also huge opportunities to continue to build that solidarity and say, what does it look like for us to fight on every front? What does it look like to fight for an individual who has charges because ICE decided they would detain him? What does it look like to fight against an ICE facility that is attempting to open up its doors? What does it look like to stand in solidarity with the mayor who's saying, you know what, I'm going to push back and fight back with faith leaders, with community leaders, with Black and brown advocates? That is a big question. But the other piece I think is important too, is I think the moment is calling us to even think about our identity as movement leaders, as activists, as organizers, and recognize that these issues all intersect. For me, my mother's African American, but my father was an immigrant, right, from New York. So for some of us, these issues are not new. The intersection of the identities are not new. For many folks, it is, but for many of us, it's not. It's something that we've lived with for our whole lives. And the question now becomes, how do we bring our reality to the reality of the movement so folks start to see these issues, these identities, our proximity to each other just in community means we will be at risk if we don't protect each other. It means we will be at risk if we don't really develop a new game plan to confront ICE. And I believe Mayor Baraka and the city of Newark is on the forefront of that. So I'm just excited to be close to Newark, to be able to be in that fight day in and day out, and also to be pulled into the movement to really defend folks who are undocumented in this moment. So thank you all for having me, and I look forward to continuing to build our solidarity.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Angelo. And thank you to all who joined us today. I get to close us out with some action, y'all. So you've heard multiple times at the core, what we are fighting for, what we are striving to do in this moment is to protect our entire community. I think Bonnie said it, Bob said it. Rob said it. All of us at one point or another have raised this core fact that if one of us is at risk. If one of us is denied protection, if one of us is denied due process, if one of us is mistreated, then all of us are at risk. But the best way in which we can fight this in this moment is standing together. And there are concrete actions you could take right now. The first one is super simple, y'all. Take out your phone. If you're watching this, please text Stop MAGA, all one word, STOPMAGA, to the number 25463. When you do, you're going to be directed to a simple petition that will be sent to your member of Congress. Where also everyone that fills out that petition is going to get additional information, because listening is not enough. You have to take action. So if you live in some of these congressional districts that this weekend there's going to be volunteer activities, once you fill out the petition, you're going to get some information so that you could join that call. I think, Nalini, we're going to also be sharing additional info with folks, because you could get trained, you could get info, and you could take action. And if you happen to be in Newark, in North Jersey, in the surrounding area, we'll also be able to send you information so that you could show up in unity, because we are not alone, right? That is the message that we need to take. Immigrants are not alone. Black folks are not alone. Poor people are not alone. We, the people, stand united. So again, if you are tired of just listening, if you're tired of just watching this, if you're tired of being tired of this insanity, and you want the kind of country that you could be proud to not only live in, but like raise our families in, then this is the moment in which we take action. I want to thank again my sister from another mister, Nalini Stamp. I want to thank thank you so much. I want to thank all of our incredible speakers, obviously Mayor Baraka. I want to thank a Congresswoman, I call her the notorious BWC, Bonnie Watson Coleman, the incredible LaMonica McIver, this incredible representative that I am so excited about her leadership, as well as Representative Menendez, and these activists, y'all, that behind the scenes are giving it all. Amy from the New Jersey Alliance for Immigrant Justice, as well as all of the organizers. Make the Road New Jersey, SEIU 32BJ. There were coalition folks, clergy folks, everyone putting their bodies and mouths where their morals and values are. I want to thank again Murad and Lisa and Angelo, and all of you, because I know all of us are going to be taking action now through budget reconciliation. We have to stop this transfer of wealth. We have to stop this madness, and we're going to do it together. So thank you. Thank you all. Nalini, you want to maybe close us out with a little bit more song?
Thank you. I always have to close it out with a song. And I also have to say that, like, sometimes when it feels like the world is crashing and burning, we still have joy as an act of resistance. And we still have joy. Like, ain't nobody taking away, unless they take away my housewives, then we got a problem. But ain't nobody taking away my joy on a weekend. And so I'm going to end with a little bit of the chorus from Resistance Survival Chorus. This is my chorus, This Joy. All right, this joy that I have, the world couldn't get it from me. Oh, this joy that I have, the world can't give to me. Don't you know that this joy that I have, the world can't take it away. Yes, the world can't give it. The world can't take it away. All right, have some joy. We will see you out Thursday morning. So solidarity for Ras outside of the Newark Federal Court Office. We'll send everybody follow-up. And at night, come to the town hall on Medicaid. Bye, y'all.
Thank you all.